Hello everyone, this is my update for the Rocky Horror Painting Show project started by the Fantastic Ladies, and I last updated this at the end of March, so I'm going to run through this as quickly as I can because I'm on my lunch break and I have to go back to work. So for Rocky, I have this gold Frankenshadow. I have not used this at all, so the weight has not changed. The opal eyeliner, this went from 13.78 to 13.77. I think I used this once. For Brad, I have Brady for Super Shock Shadow. I'm not going to open this. I haven't used this at all. Excuse me. It very well is likely that I'm going to have to repress this because it keeps drying out. This started at 19.63. It's now at 19.61 and I have not used it. Janet device. Janet. Whoosh. Here's my Janet. There's a little bit of a dip in there. There. Don't look at that. So you can see the dip there. I use this to blend out the top of my looks, so I don't use very much at a time. So this went from 2.49 to 2.48, so that's either use or how I do my measuring, because every time I put my scale down, I put it in a different place, so there's no telling if where I put it is making the difference or not. And Riff Raff. Riff Raff was this Milani Hypnotic Lights and Beaming Light, and I keep it upright so that I can get a good idea of where I am in it. I don't know how many times I've used this, but this went from 27.66 to 27.61 to 27.58. So either I'm using it or it's drying up, which is entirely possible. And since it doesn't dry in a straight line, I've got to figure out where to put my line here. And I haven't measured that at all. Magenta, I have this magenta eyeliner, and that started at 11.85. It's now at 11.78. I have done wing liner with this a couple of times. Bouncy. For Columbia, I have this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Bouncy. You can't see all the wonderful sparkle that's in here, but it is wonderfully. But I don't think I've used that at all. But it has gone down in weight. It went from 19.21 to 19.19 to 19.17. And I don't think I've used it enough to qualify for that much, so I'm pretty sure that the moisture is coming out, so I'm trying not to open those unless I absolutely have to. For Eddie, I have Ready or Not from the Wet n Wild Mega Slicks Balm Stain. These are old. They don't make these anymore. This is at 17.25. Last time I weighed it was 17.22, and when I originally weighed it, it was 17.27. So I'm going to go with that as the correct starting weight. And then I've used 0.02. I do like this as a balm stain. It's a nice red color, and it feels like a really moisturizing gloss. Dr. Scott is this Mr. Right Now in Scott, and here are my last couple of measurements. I think when I weighed it, I measured it, and that's what the silver is, pretty sure. And it's just a burgundy-ish red, and I try to do that when I'm doing brown looks and I think blue looks. I'll put this in my waterline. But I have used it a bit. And this went from, well, it's got arguable weight. So it went from 5.18 to 5.2 to 5.19. So I'm going to go in with 5.2 was correct. So I've used 0.01. For the Criminalist Criminalist, because I can talk. I have this lovely purple shimmery nail polish. I am not marking where it is, but I think it started brand new, but it's here, right under the ridge. I was using this on top of my acrylic nails when I had acrylic nails, but when I couldn't get them filled because of the pandemic, I started painting my very, very sad, crunchy nails that were drilled on and whatnot. So I've been trying to keep my nails polished so that I stop picking at them. That's why I get the acrylics, because I tend to pick at my nails until they bleed. So I've been trying to keep them polished, so I'll pick at the polish instead of my nails and my cuticles. But I was painting this every other day. So this went from 51.15 to 50.02. I did not weigh it last time because I don't know what I had done with it at that point. For my favorite song, I had this Urban Decay Perversion. I don't believe I've used this at all. So, yeah, the weight hasn't changed. Favorite quote was Magic by Victor and Rolf. Sage Spell. I really like this smell. It's really subtle, which I like in a perfume. And then the bonus item was, and that went from 7.70 to 7.71, and originally it was 7.76. I've used it. I like the smell of it. I'm trying to finish another perfume sample before I move on to that one, but I really like that perfume. So my last item is the NYX Transylvania for my bonus item for Transylvania. And this went from 14.25 to 14.17 to 14.15. I've used this at least once in the last month. I really like the color that it does. It's a really deep purple plum color, and I really enjoy that as a lipstick. It's not my favorite formula, but it used to be. I have since discovered other formulas that I like better, but it was a great starter lipstick when I was just getting into makeup. Yeah, so that is everybody. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next update. I'm trying to wear makeup more. I'm trying to do my videos more often, and because I wasn't wearing makeup during the pandemic, it is still the pandemic, but I would wake up and go to work and not put face on, and I'm finding that my ritual has changed in the last couple of days, that I'm able to focus better if I put a face of makeup on, even if I don't get dressed. If I put my makeup on, I can focus on my day, and it's a little bit easier. So hopefully that means that I'll get a little bit more use out of my makeup during this pandemic. So thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.